Manchester United right now, we're struggling. I say that. I think we've won 4 out of our last 6, but certainly after that Brighton game, the second half against Spurs, the end of this season is tough for United in terms of how we are playing. And West Ham on Sunday will not be an easy game, especially after the disappointment against Brighton. But Man United, look, it's not squeaky bum time yet. I'll tell you that. I think we're totally in control. But if we do lose on Sunday, that's when the nerves will start kicking in. And I'm not particularly looking forward to it. But I'm going to run through some key tactical issues and points from this game. The selection, the team, the questions with my prediction. Give me 10 minutes of your time. Drop a like on the video. And let's run through things, right? A few things. Ten Hag, this is what he said before the game. Look, United we must be in the Champions League. And we are on the verge of it. And if we don't get it, it's our own fault from this point. But there are a couple of facts, very Benitez of me to say that, about this United team right now. One, we are abysmal away from home. Don't need to tell you our record. It's awful. Second fact, we do bounce back. Pretty much, I think every single time we've had a disappointing setback this season. So hopefully we repeat that pattern on Sunday away at West Ham. Now, if you look at the form table, right, you look at the whole table. Man United sitting there in 4th place. We are in control of it. West Ham down there in what? 15th? They've lost 3 in a row. They're only 4 points off the relegation zone. They aren't really in the relegation scrap right now. There's too many teams down there who could go down. But West Ham just need one more result and they clear themselves from that. So this is probably going to be their cup final. It will be for David Moyes anyway on Sunday. So they are going to be bang up for it. And if you take a look at the games that are on this weekend, right? Liverpool are at home to Brentford. I'll tell you what, the way Liverpool are playing, I wouldn't completely back them to win that. But you look at this game that's happening on Sunday, Newcastle. We could drag Newcastle into the conversation around 4th if we win on Sunday and they lose at home to Arsenal. And of course, Arsenal's still going for the title. Brighton, you'd be backing them to beat Everton at home, right? So this could be an opportunity this weekend to drag Newcastle into a conversation they don't want to be in. This was the starting 11 from the game at the weekend. And I think there should be some changes. We all know where the big issue was. I'd say anyway. The big issue revolved around midfield. It has pretty much revolved around midfield. I say that. I wouldn't say that just midfield all season. Our attack, of course, was a big issue in terms of the finishing. Defensively, I thought we were very sound. Now, De Gea will be an issue on Sunday, and De Gea will be an issue in this team until we get a new goalkeeper. Not completely, all right? But in terms of certain aspects, in terms of control, build-up, and possession, it isn't just about incredible distribution. It's about smart play. It's about confidence that the defence has in him. Now, with De Gea, I think that United have got to negate this issue a little bit. Because, look, West Ham, they know that if Casemiro or whoever plays in midfield, I'll run through this in a minute, whoever drops deep here, if you just press that player there, then De Gea won't really be able to find that ball out from the back. He'll try and find Delo and Wan-Bissaka, but if you press down there, I think what we need to do is get whoever's playing up front to sort of drop into these positions, to try and give an extra body on the halfway line. I think that's going to be the out ball for United against West Ham, because I think they're pretty much going to cover everything else. Look, De Gea, try and have a good game. West Ham are going to press him and try and cause issues. I think Shaw and Lindelof has probably been the bright spark and the consistent spark from the football performances over the last 3-4 weeks. Very, very good. Deserved the clean sheet against Brighton. Shaw particularly unlucky, but he's an idiot for sticking his hand up there. And he knows he's an idiot. Shouldn't have done that. He said he got a nudge in the back, but I'll let him off because of how good he was. But West Ham are going to be physical as hell. They're going to want those set pieces. They're going to have Soucek up there. They're going to have Bonner. They're going to try and make it as physical as possible because it's a weakness of this team. It's a flaw of this team. So United have got to be aware of that. I think if McTominay was fit, McTominay would probably have come into midfield, but he's not going to be fit. And I think Delo and Wan-Bissaka both keep their spots at left back and at right back. And again, as I said, I think defensively, all 4 of them played pretty well against Brighton. And I think we deserved that clean sheet. Didn't get it towards the end because of that ridiculous penalty call. But it's in midfield where changes are needed. And I tell you what, I've got to look at Casemiro. Because everywhere else in this midfield is a compromise. Now, Bruno's not really a compromise in where he plays. But In terms of the control, like, what's Casemiro's form about? I don't really understand it. Villa, he sort of came back and, there he is. And then Brighton, he sort of kind of went into himself again. Got that yellow card for breaking up the counter-attack, which is kind of a standard experienced defensive midfielder tackle to make. But because Fred was playing a little bit more of an advanced role, he was pretty isolated there. I don't think Ten Hag can afford that against West Ham. And this is where I think it's curious, because who do you play in midfield alongside him? You could play Fred like he did against Brighton. I don't think he's going to do that, because Fred, simply put, I call it hot potato. What Ten Hag needs there in that midfield is somebody who wants the ball stuck to his foot. And Eriksen is easily the best option for that. Of course, when you put Eriksen in there, though, you take away a little bit of athleticism and you take away a little bit of physicality. And West Ham are going to be physical. So I think playing Eriksen there, while it brings a little bit more control, brings different problems of its own. What we need in the summer is somebody with the athleticism and tenacity of Fred, but with the guile and the ability of Eriksen wrapped up into one midfielder. Who that midfielder is, I don't know, but that's the midfielder we are missing. I think this is a game where the subs are going to be important in terms of midfield, because I think Eriksen starts there, and I think Bruno starts in his role. If I'm being honest, I think Bruno's going to be the difference maker. If we win this game on Sunday, I do think it's going to be Bruno. But I think that's going to be the midfield trio, our best midfield three. And remember that any game that Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno have started together, Man United haven't lost. That record still stands. I think we're going to see that on Sunday. And I think what we'll see in the second half is this, right? I think we'll see Eriksen go off. I think we'll see Bruno drop deeper. And I think we'll see Sabitzer come a little bit further forward. I think that's the midfield sub that could have a positive impact on this game. Because Bruno, you could start him deeper. Bruno's done that, I think, 2 or 3 times. And he was fantastic. But that was against teams that just didn't press us. Bruno's erratic in that he wants to get the ball as quickly from his feet up to Rashford as he possibly can, which normally finds those balls in behind it. It's what makes us so dangerous on the transition. But when it comes to control of a game, that's not what it is. So maybe, actually, you could see Bruno start there, Sabitzer start further up, and the complete opposite. Then in the second half, Bruno moves further up. That's a circle. Bruno moves further up, Sabitzer goes off, and Eriksen comes on. And instead, you get more control for the last 30 minutes rather than the first 30. I think that will happen. I just don't know in what order. And we need a midfielder in the summer. I know we need a striker. But in terms of this control and build-up, and actually just, as I said, just having the ability to just knock it around our players for like 2 minutes without it having to be flung forward. We need a midfielder for that. We absolutely do. Now in attack, Anthony was a little bit of a hothead against Brighton. He's been a little bit of a hothead all season, but it's kind of part of his game. And we need fighters in this team. Because too often it's just like everyone's just lying down getting their belly tickled. So many players. Anthony's not part of that category, but he does have to control himself. But he's certainly the most dangerous player we have on that right wing. And I think he'll start. And I don't really think there's a question about Anthony, if I'm being totally honest. Marcus Rashford, he's looking jaded. He's looking like he's been playing, 50-odd games this season? That's what it looks like. And his goals have dried up a little bit. There's one change I would make on Sunday, right? I would take Martial out the starting 11 and I would put Jadon Sancho in. I'll explain that. I think we'll see Martial drop to the bench, Sancho come on, Rashford move through the middle, and Sancho go on the left. That will give United a little bit more ability to actually just kind of hold it up a little tiny bit. Because we do play too fast through the transitions. We are, at this time, majority still a transition team. There are certain games we've played this season where we've had the ability to just build up through patterns and we score that way. But certainly at this moment in time, we're a transition team. And I would rather have Sancho there and maybe bring Martial on for the last 20, 30. I don't think Martial starts this game. I think Rashford does. And maybe Rashford won't be fit to. I don't know whether he's 100% fit and Weghorst starts. I hope not. I think Rashford starts. And that would be my starting 11. And as I said, we haven't lost the game where those three have started together. And as Ten Hag said, we've bounced back every time we've had a defeat. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win. I think Alex has convinced me on the pod this week. A 1-0 win, and I hope it's a penalty because, geez, we just don't get penalties. I think ever since that decision against City, I think referees have thought twice about giving United decisions. That's what I think anyway. That's what it feels like. I hope we win. Winning on Sunday will just put to bed any sort of fears and worries. Losing on Sunday, which is a distinct possibility, given our away form, drags everyone into the equation. And it means that we then have to beat Chelsea in our game in hand to hold the advantage over Liverpool. Liverpool at home against Brentford, that's not a sure thing whatsoever. Didn't they lose away at Brentford? I think they did. It got spanked by Brentford. Well, so did we. So I can't exactly take the piss out of them. Newcastle are playing Arsenal. Liverpool playing Brentford. United are playing West Ham. Tricky ties all over the place this weekend. Brighton have got Everton. You back them to win that. But they're not really in the conversation, I don't particularly think. 6 points from them would take us 2 points behind. No, they're not. If they win their game in hand, they are still 5 points behind us. United, do the job, man. Get it done. Get this season finished in the top 4. Pray for the FA Cup final for a miracle. And then we move on to next season. Don't let it slip from this point. Very Gerrard of me. And as Ten Hag said, we bounce back every time. Do it again on Sunday, please.